Hi, and welcome to the Fairy Godmothers Pod of Wisdom and Knowledge.
You got it right.
I did.
Woohoo!
And I am Reverend Elizabeth Howell, the Fairy Godmother of Wisdom, not sometimes, maybe sort of wisdom and knowledge. And I'm with
Reverend Cynthia, and I am the fairy godmother of mayhem and snark.
we all need a little mayhem and snark in our lives.
Get it right. Snark.
Yeah, snarky. Well, we had a great week this past week, and
we did.
Yeah, we did. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we did, and we're also going to talk about some more haunted Medina County. And last podcast, we talked about certain places that are considered haunted in Medina County, and several books have been written about Medina County and our wonderful haunted places of interest in Brunswick, Medina, Lodi, Hinckley. We haven't had a lot of investigation, I think, in Seville. I think there's been one or two. But anyway, so we want to talk a little bit more about that. And then we're going to talk, I'm going to do a little bit of some cosmic traffic report, and we're also going to talk about
An owl. The
owls.
Owls and Halloween.
What do owls mean? There we go. Owls and Halloween. So right off the bat, first off, October 22nd, the sun moved into the sign of Scorpio at 6:14 p.m. So happy birthday, all Scorpios. We're going to be into the Scorpio season for real then at that moment. October 22nd also.
Do we know any Scorpios?
We might. We might. We won't talk about that. Because we have such a terrible reputation as it is, adding the Scorpio to it. But anyway, October 22nd, the sun will square Pluto. The sun will be in the sign of, right before it moves into the sign of Scorpio, it will be in the sign of Libra. And at that morning at 10 a.m., it will square Pluto, which will bring in a lot of intensity to the day of that first day of Scorpio, because it will be Libra and Capricorn square. So this is going to bring in a lot of conflict right before the sun moves into Scorpio. It's going to be kind of some rebellious energy as well, and a lot of just kind of tempers flaring. So happy birthday, Scorpio. You're going to go in with a bang.
Sounds a little ominous there.
Yeah, it does. It's going to be a rough day. October 28th, Venus is going to square the planet Saturn at 12 degrees. That will be Sagittarius Pisces at 9:34 a.m. Now, this transit will bring in a very discontented day to energy to the day. We may struggle with others, and we may especially people ask favors from us, and we may just really struggle with trying to, do I want to do this favor or not? And a lot of our emotions will be really more shut down. We'll be more in a shut down energy, so we're not going to want to share our emotions, which will make us appear insensitive and maybe shy. And this will lead to misunderstandings with other people around us at work or at home. Particularly, we do want to say be careful, because there will be a lot of combative energy with bosses and family members, so it's time to really just chill and relax.
So smile and nod.
Yeah, and this is a challenge mostly for the Sagittarians, the Geminis, the Pisces, and the Virgos on October 28th. Now, October 30th, the day before Halloween, Mercury is going to oppose the planet Uranus at 25 degrees in the sign of Scorpio and Taurus. So that's going to be taking place at 6:11 p.m. And this energy is going to carry on into October 31st, Halloween. And this transit will bring in a very eccentric energy to the evening and to all of the next day. So be careful. People will be acting kind of weird. The energy will be all over the place. People will kind of be discombobulated.
Kind of like Halloween.
Like Halloween. So it's going to add to that Halloween energy for sure. There may be a lot of creative thinking, and this is a good time for your mind, to sit down and journal, write some creative ideas down. But you got to be careful, because your mind is going to be zigzagging all over the place. So you're definitely going to have to be careful with paying attention. So we know Halloween, paying attention, because kids are out running around in hot costumes with cars and stuff. So we want to be careful of accidents. We want to be careful of just being, tripping, falling kind of energy. So not bad. We're not talking, evil stuff, but we are talking just like weird little things like that, like stubbing your toe. So we also, want to kind of watch out for just like stepping over the line with other people. In other words, not paying attention to somebody's boundaries and just kind of pushing people. So we want to be careful of that overall, and that will go from October 30th into the 31st, particularly Scorpios, Tauruses, Leos, and Aquarians. So y'all just need to back off. November 1st is a new moon, and that new moon is going to be at 9 degrees Scorpio, and again, enhancing that Sun in Scorpio energy. That is considered All Saints' Day. It is also considered the Day of the Dead. And the new moon is a time for purging, letting go, for healing, and for banishing. So
And for howling.
And for howling.
Ow!
New moon, new moon, and it's going to be some very strong energies for sure. So hang on and ride through. And so now we're going to talk about owls.
Owls, yeah. We're talking about stuff about Halloween, and there's so many things about Halloween, with the mythologies. Most of it is about the things that live and spend most of their lives active either in the dark or in the cemeteries. Okay, because we did a bat last time, of course, another one that comes out at night. Most owls are more active at nighttime. There are some that are daytime. But it's the big thing is that with owls in particular is that they have their feathers are specially made for silent flight. I mean, they literally fly, and that's how they are able to sneak up on their prey, is because they literally don't hear them coming. So we have that. We had those huge glowing eyes that allow them to see really well in the dark. And then we have their eerie hoots and screech, and you were familiar with the screeching sound there for a while.
Yeah, screech owls.
And their long history of the supernatural connections and associations with magic of witches and witches and wizards, and carrying messages from beyond the veil. With all of this, there's really no surprise that there's a deep association with modern Samhain, which is the last harvest festival for pagans and, Wiccans in particular, and Halloween. And I think a lot of the association that we can look at between Samhain and Halloween is being the last harvest festival that's bringing in not just the harvest of the grains and plant matter. We also bring in and harvest the animals. They couldn't afford at the time to feed large amounts of animals throughout the winter, so they would politely call the herds and then preserve the meat to take and help get them through the winter, which is actually why we usually have turkey at Thanksgiving, because they couldn't provide, poultry is harder to preserve, and why we would typically have something like ham at Easter, because the salted meats would last longer throughout the winter, and maybe the last thing available in spring before anything else has been, old enough to eat.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Think about that. Ham and for Easter. Now I know why.
Yeah. But all is not dark and demonic with the world of owls. There are other, much less spooky parts of the owl lore. The wisdom and knowledge, of course, that are associated with them. And while an owl can't move its eyes, it can turn its head around in the neighborhood of 270 degrees. So it's not completely around, but it gives them a good view of what's going on around them. It allows them to see, hear, and learn what's going on in its world. So wisdom of the ages is kept by the owls. Want to know what's happening in the woods at dusk or dawn? Ask the owls. Do you think someone around you is keeping secrets? Ask the owl to keep their ears open or an eye peeled and send that information back to you. Are you feeling stressed? Do you need help dealing with things in your neck of the woods? Okay, ask owl to help eat up those energies. What it can't digest for you, it will pelletize in a firm shell and spit it back out for Mother Earth to transmute that energy. And then the dark has always been a scary place for us humans because we weren't made for the darkness in our domain. But ancient knowledge has always been available to us through the stories passed down through our ancestors and sometimes around a warm fire on a Samhain night.
Oh, and the owl in Native American tradition is also called the night hawk. So a night hawk because they represent the energies of the east, the winged feathered creatures, but night hawk. So
and interesting, in one of my books, it actually has a night and day association between a type of owl and its nighttime energy and another hawk energy that would be more for the daytime because the hawks are more daytime, owls are obviously more nighttime.
Yeah, interesting. Well, thank you for sharing the owl wisdom, and maybe we can call a little bit of owl wisdom in for Halloween and into the new season, well, into November and all the new things coming in for the first of the year as well. We need that. Fun stuff. So we're also going to we're going to touch base here again with the Haunted Medina County, and there's a wonderful series of books that were written. We went over the book last week, and so we're going to go and talk about the series of books that are considered the staple for actually all of Ohio, and it's called the Haunted Ohio. It's a Haunted Ohio book series by Chris
Woodyard.
And we're going to talk particularly about the Haunted Ohio book 4. But she has written, we figured there's a total of like 9 books.
She has 7 that I know of in that Haunted Ohio series, but she's also authored some other books. But the one here in Haunted Ohio 4 that I really like is where she spent the night at Spitzer House. And it talks...
we'll explain about Spitzer House. Spitzer House is located in Medina on Route...
Yeah, you mentioned it last
Liberty
time.
Street, so it would be west of the square of Medina. It is located, it looks like, I think it's about a block away from the old Medina Steakhouse. So go ahead, talk about...
Yeah, it's a B&B, at least it used to be. I'm pretty sure it still is a B&B. But she talks about it in the book.
Your microphone, hold it up.
Oh,
there we go.
And interestingly, the story here about her being in Spitzer House and actually having a confrontation with a couple of the spirits that live there. She was in the Spitzer House because she was doing a talk in Hinckley Library that we also mentioned last time. Being haunted. So she was there giving a talk about all the hauntings in that area. Book 1 that I couldn't find, because I only have, of the series, I only have 1 through 4. Guess who's getting 5, 6, and 7?
Yeah.
And by the way, they are available at the Black Cat Bookstore in Medina. I'm not exactly sure where in Medina.
The Black Cat Bookstore is located on Court Street, South Court Street, 1 block south of Medina Square, and it's on the, it's located, I'm going to say next to what they call the old granary, Medina.
Oh, the Farmers Exchange. Used to be the Farmers Exchange.
Yeah. So you can Google Black Cat Bookstore and
you can Google it. They have a Facebook page as well.
Yeah, they do. And these books are wonderful. If you want to learn more about all of Ohio and not just Medina County. But Spitzer, I want to talk about that encounter really quick that she had was with a specific ghost that a lot of people have had encounters with this ghost at the Spitzer Bed and Breakfast.
Okay. Yeah, it was a girl who would be, at the time of when she was alive, she would have been considered not quite right. One of the people that the families would be embarrassed about and would probably have been relegated to an attic and kept, away from everybody. But she comes across just as very childlike and curious. And the questions came rapid fire and kind of took her by surprise. When she first got to the Spitzer house, she wanted a warm room. So Janet, the gal who owns Spitzer House, took her to the front room, and as soon as she walked in, all the lights went out. And flicking the switch made no difference. Lights didn't come on. She took her to another room, and this is where she spent the night, and she encountered this one little gal, and then I'm sorry, I forget who the other ghost was. I believe it was an older gentleman who was just kind of like standing in the corner, staring at her. But I found it, it's really kind of fun. Book 1, which I don't know what happened to it. It's in the house somewhere, along with my witch hat that I forgot. I didn't forget it, I couldn't find it. But in book 1, she didn't experience this story. It was simply a story that was conveyed to her about how Lincoln's train had gone through Medina, and for several years afterwards, on the anniversary of the event, there would be a phantom train go through Medina on the track. So that's kind of cool.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But that was just a story.
Yeah. I know a lot of people do in Medina County. There's lots of different word of mouth ghost stories. But because I work I'm an ordained minister, but I also work as a spiritualist and a medium. I do occasionally do house cleansings. And usually people call me when they are finding some things going on and they don't know what to do about it, which who would, right? I tell people I come in to teach you how to do it yourself, how to cleanse a space. I think everyone should learn how to do that. But I'll just share a really quick one. We had been encountering at and I'm not going to use names, and I will be kind of vague about the location, but it was a golf course situation, and the golf course building had a spirit in it, and everyone who worked there kind of knew a little bit about that spirit, and we had brought in a team to cleanse out, release that spirit, send that spirit on to the other side, and cleanse that space. And kind of sort of didn't feel we had a success with that with the team at the time.
Well, not every ghost is ready to go.
Not every ghost is ready to go. So digressing, coming back about 7 to 10 years later, get a phone call, and I'm asked to come to a home that is located near that location, and they were having encounters within their house. There seemed to be at least 2 spirits in the house. And one was associated with this so-called, entertainment place. And then the other was associated with the home itself. And the owners were encountering cold spots, their dogs barking, seeing figures, catching things on their cameras, and also getting, electronic voice phenomenon and other things. And we did, I had to do a house cleansing, and hopefully we got rid of the spirit, but I came with communication with the spirit, discovered it was actually the same spirit from that entertainment golf course location, had moved into the house, actually had been originally at that house.
I was going to say,
and
was
moved
that
around.
that all one property?
It was at one time it was a farm, and so he was the original farmer of that property. And so I believe we got that spirit to move on along with the other person in the house. But it was very interesting because here I had thought I did a cleansing years ago and did not. He just moved to another house. So hopefully we got him on. But that was very interesting because there seems to be a lot of that in Brunswick area and also in Medina. I've done a few house cleansings in Medina, and I know that there was, we have a lot of stories. So if you've got a story that you want to share about maybe a haunting in your home or an experience, go ahead and email us, and maybe we'll talk about it on air. Our email is
fairygodmotherspod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
It's on the screen there that you can copy it down real quick. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Like ideas, your own experiences, pointing us in the right direction for a story, any of that, please. You can email it to us. You could even, if you wanted, message us through Facebook on our Facebook page, which is the Fairy Godmothers of Wisdom and Knowledge on Facebook. So we got that. And then we also have a page or a channel, I guess, on Facebook now, or not Facebook.
YouTube.
YouTube. where we'll be posting these podcasts as well.
And Vidbit with BAT.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
You have to go to the the Brunswick, Ohio website and go to departments and
Okay.
local TV, and
Okay.
it'll get you there.
BAT will help you find it. And so, share your experiences. When we did when we did the ghost walk down in Lodi, I was just the team leader for that. But we definitely had some experiences, mostly around where the old Taylor Hotel was.
Yes.
Right there, it's now in the corner of what we said. We talked about that, around 80.
It's 83 and 42.
83 and 42, and it used to be this big old hotel, and it had a ballroom and might have been even a brothel in there, and there was a lot of activity. Someone caught orbs around me on the camera, and
There were a lot of orbs in a lot of different places.
Yeah,
I think
and-
there was a lot of orbs too in, what was that, the upstairs we went into, it was,
was it the Masonic?
that's it, the
Yeah,
Masonic.
the Masonic.
Yeah, the Masonic.
So yeah, the Masonic people opened up their building, which when you're in Lodi, there's this big building on the east side of the square, and you're like, what is that building? It's actually the Masonic home, and it's 3-4 stories and it's been there forever. It's been there for 100 years. They opened it up, and we took people in. Very fascinating. They had George Washington's nightcap. They believe was the original nightcap he would wear to bed, and they have that in the little museum area. Another interesting place on Lodi, of course, was the Lodi Music Store. You can go down. It's open to the public, and they're pretty open. They're pretty fun. But we had got some video of orbs jumping around people, and someone got touched in the Lodi Music Store. Someone felt like they had someone touch the back of their neck. So that might be kind of a nice little fun thing to check out for someone. And again, if you have any good ideas about haunted Medina, Brunswick, Lodi, Seville, Wadsworth. We haven't even done Wadsworth, have we?
No.
So it would be something to check out. So upcoming, this past week or so, we went to an event on the square in Medina real quick, and it was
Curiosities and Cryptids Festival on the square in Medina. It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun, and
We met a lot of people.
Yeah, and hopefully some of the authors. We met quite a few authors, and we're hoping we're going to get them on. They all said yes, we're going to call in at some point or another.
Yeah.
So,
I had the first one here is Journey into the Known. It's called History and Hauntings Throughout America, Volume 1. And this is actually a friend of mine, somebody that I know, Richie Grubbs. And he's really excited about this. And in all honesty, I haven't had a chance to read any of these books because we literally just got them. So, so that's going to be one of them that's going to be first on my list because I owe it to Richie. He's a fellow student on the shamanic path. And then we also have Unnatural Ohio. It says A History of Buckeye Cryptids, Legends, and Other Mysteries. And this is by Christina Smith and Kevin Moore. And so we're looking forward to going through that. Elizabeth and I have to share them. And then one I'm really excited to try to read is this one here. It's the Grimsbane Family Witch Hunters. It's a book by Joan Reardon, and it's a children's book. And it's a story about it's about witch hunters and this family, and I'm excited to try to get that read. I know what I'm going to be doing for next couple of weeks.
yeah, and we had so much fun. There were vendors. It was a family event, so there were kids and children, people dressed in costumes.
There was even face painting.
Face painting. There was a Mothman. There was cryptoids and
Moth person.
Moth person. So we had lots of fun. And just to give everybody a heads up, if you're interested and you would like to go to the Medina Phenomenon The Medina phenomenon is a group of people who are, talking and sharing and exchanging and discussing things about UFOs, strange phenomenons, and other topics in Medina County. So you can catch them on Facebook, but you can also, they meet the second Wednesday of every month at the Buckeye Library Community Room at 6625 Wolf Road in Medina, Ohio. So check them out, because if you have an interest in this, it's a good place to meet with people who just, in a safe environment to sit and discuss some things, because I throw it out there every once in a while about UFO encounters I've had, and I have not encountered Bigfoot, but I have encountered deer that eat Twinkies.
Yeah, oh God, I remember. I remember that. Throwing the Twinkies out for Bigfoot and watching the deer eat them. Never thought a deer would eat Twinkies, but they do.
They do. I was hoping to attract Bigfoot with Twinkies, and boy, that was not how you attract a Bigfoot.
It's how you attract a big deer.
Definitely. Oh my goodness.
And the Medina phenomenon, we need to put out there too that they are no money involved.
It's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit. You don't have to pay to go in to be a part of anything. Of course, if you want to go in and be a speaker, you're not getting paid for that either. So it's just. It sounds interesting and fun. Again, I'm planning on going.
Yeah, that would be soon. That would be soon.
Well, the second Wednesday in November.
Yeah, and also, upcoming, we've got. I put on psychic fairs, and we might have missed the one October 20th at the Best Western Plus in Strongsville, but we have one coming up at the VFW here in Brunswick on South Carpenter Road, and that's November 3rd. And as always, admission is free, and you can come in and just sit and hang out. We have vendors and readers, so you can always stop in and catch us there. Catch me there, catch Reverend Cynthia there, and
catch us if you can.
Catch us if you can. Correct. Halloween is always my favorite time of year. I enjoy it, so I hope everyone is going to enjoy and have fun. Take everything with a grain of salt, and or take some grain of salts with you. Sprinkle salt. I don't know.
Throw it at them. Get it in their eye, and that'll make them.
But it's very interesting that people talk about how the veil, when they say the veil is thin during this time of year, that just means that, the communication between those on the other side and with us here it's thinned. And so that's why we move into the Day of the Dead. And I do like the idea about the Day of the Dead, because that's where you honor your ancestors, you honor the people that have passed. It is not a morbid, we're not celebrating death, but what we're celebrating is our ancestors are on the other side, the people who love us, and we love them, and we miss them, and we want to honor them and say, hey, we're thinking of you.
Oh, well, there used to be some traditions in, I want to say in Northern Ireland, Scotland, where they would bring the skeletons, the bodies of the dead, out of their crypts and put them up and give them a cigar or whatever they wanted, their favorite food was. And then after the festivities were over, they got respectfully put back where they came from, and they did that, next year. Yep.
And what was that called? Because I know there's not Sow-en, but there was another name for it that was was used. And again, it's talking with the ancestors, and I think we can translate it to now just honoring the people. We miss the people that have passed, and we want to hear from them, our moms, our dads, our grandparents, our maybe our husband or our wife, or our children. And it's a time, of honoring, and it's not a time to be afraid, or it's not a time that, we're it's just, So it's just a time to just have, express love. Let's express love instead of fear.
Right. Excellent.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us today on our podcast, and tune back in. We will be back on the air, and
that is a warning.
That is the warning. We will be back on the air. So I'm Reverend Elizabeth Howell, and
I'm Reverend Cynthia.
And we appreciate you tuning in. Like us on Facebook, share. Please, please, please. We would love to have as many followers as we can. And, that's always the fun part of doing a podcast, is knowing we're reaching some people, except You know, maybe just that one person who's sitting at home, they have nothing better to do at 2 o'clock in the morning except to watch us, which
Okay, we'll take it.
we'll take it. Yes, if you're at 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll take it. So thanks again for joining us for the Godmothers podcast.
Okay, see you next time. And we're only,
2 seconds over.
no, well, yeah, that's right, because